Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me is Josh, a.k.a. the Golden Pop-Tart.
So today I feel like we're, kind of on a different set a little bit, almost like Hoth a little bit out there. The weather here where we are is a little bit snowy out there.
Yeah, your Tauntaun will die before you reach the, fifth marker? I don't remember the number.
I'm not sure, Oof. But I know it's going to smell bad when I cut it open, so.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's a real, we live in Michigan. And if you've never been to Michigan, just think of where it is in the country. It's up there, right? So we're used to this. Snow happens, but this is one of those 2 or 3 times a year where it's really happening. And earlier today, I thought, we took last week off, and I hope we don't have to take this week off because everyone loses power because snow will ruin everything, man.
It does.
It will just ruin because when it comes in these we're going to get who knows, maybe up to 10 inches of snow. What? Stupid. So anyways, that's all to say. It feels good being back.
Agreed. Agreed.
We took a week off. Every single time I take a week off, I don't care if it's for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. If I take a week off, I'm always there's something weighing on me. There's something wrong this week.
Right? It's good to be back to normal. And, it's funny because I was watching your stream earlier and you could just tell, you're glad to be back.
This guy has needed this. Oh, man. We couldn't have picked a worse week to miss. I think it kind of works out. We've got one new character to talk about, so we'll talk about that. Hera Syndulla. General Syndulla.
Yes.
We gotta have a defining. You know how there's JKA versus Gas for the two Anakins?
Yeah.
We gotta have Hera and General Hera, GS. It doesn't really have a ring to it. We'll figure that out. That's going to be the second half of the show, is us just pontificating.
For me, she's wearing a coat, so I was just calling her Coats. But, it's not a good one. But
and she's got head tails, so coat tails, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That's something. Jacket Hera.
Yeah.
Jacket Hera. I like it. It's like a bomber jacket too, right?
It is. I like it.
Okay, so we will be talking about that. We're going to talk about some changes to assault battles. We'll have some words for that. We're going to talk about this whole episode track and that. We kind of discussed it previously, but we've had some time to play around with it and start to figure it out. I think as a community, we've figured it out a lot. I feel like it just hit and no one knew what the heck was going on. So we'll dig into that a little bit. And then some changes to capital ships as well. Some new light speed bundles. What? And wherever else it goes.
You forgot the quotations. When you say the light speed bundle, you have to have quotations.
Oh, I'm sorry. For liability purposes, our legal department has determined we need to do, even if it's audio only, we need to do the air bunnies.
There you go. You just have
to. But first, let's do the most important thing we could possibly do and celebrate some Blurf days. Okay, so we got a few this week, right?
Well, a few. I think we have one that I have to say first for. So today,
K2SO?
No. I think we got to talk about somebody else. So there's another one as we record, which is going to be on 12/4. We have a Blurf Day for the other Sean, for Mr. Sean here. So happy Blurf Day.
Oh, this one? Yes. Yes, it is my blurf day. You know, my wife and I have been like really getting into fitness and like watching what we eat and being smart about this and that. And she's very thoughtful. Like I receive a card, I receive a gift, but there wasn't cake.
Ooh.
And so we're vegetarian, but we have like a vegetarian meatloaf. I did the Air Bunnies again. It's like, you know, like Impossible Crumbles.
You could hear
whatever.
it, so.
Yeah. And in my meatloaf, there was a little candle. And she had the kids sing happy birthday. And they get done and they go, are you 1? Are you 2? Are you 3? And I was like, I do not have time for this. I'm sorry. This is going to take entirely too long. But yeah, it's been a good day. We're
That's
getting
awesome.
snowed in, which is actually a thing that I like perversely kind of love. I love getting snowed in. Only thing that makes it better is if you have a fireplace, and we don't.
Oh.
Having a fireplace and being snowed in is magic to me. I love it. But yeah, it's a good day. Good chill day.
There you go.
Know? My Pistons are in the process of getting absolutely murdered again. I mean, that's what I did
for a couple
Saturday.
last though, but
For my birthdays, we all went out to Little Caesars Arena and watched the Pistons get brutalized by the 76ers. So that was a great way to celebrate. It's what we do every year, and they lose every year on my birthday. So, but thank you. Yeah, it's a fun time, and I share it with some excellent company this week. As I mentioned, K2SO.
there you go.
On the 7th is now him. You could do this game. Are you 1? Are you 2? Are you? He's 8 years in Galaxy of Heroes with K2SO. Do you remember? Or no, you weren't playing when he released.
No.
Do you know how he released?
No, I don't.
It was infuriating to me. He was free for Android players.
Oh.
And iPhone players, you know how we got him? We didn't. He was an
Seriously?
Android exclusive.
Oh,
for
my word.
A couple months. And then they released him as like Galactic War shop. So at least it was like really easy to get him. But
yeah. Can you
when
imagine
that came
them
out,
doing
I was
that
like,
now?
my jaw dropped. What? You know? And
I
feel
just
like,
can't imagine what would happen now if that happened.
oh my God, a riot. But the thing is, like, now you can link accounts. Back then, I don't think you could yet. So it was actually kind of something. But and the funny thing is, he came out, and I did the show with John back then, and he played on Android, and he got him. And I remember, like, the sentiment was, he's not actually that good, so at least there's that. You're not actually missing anything. Also on the 7th, we have Kelleran Beck turning 1 year old. I thought he was older than that, but
I thought he was too, actually. Really? It's only been a year?
Unless that's a typo. That 1 year of Kelleran Beck. Was he no. Was he like a panic farm for Bo-Katan? Wasn't he?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I guess I can hit the old internet.
I wonder if I know. I'm Googling it because there's no way this is correct. Kelleran Beck.
I mean,
SWGOH.
He had to be for something here. And there's probably people going right now like, it's this person, but we can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Huh. Release date December 6th, 2023, which is when he was added to the game file. So, wow. Yeah, I guess so. That's crazy.
I mean, he has to be. It must have something. It's bad that we can't remember at this point, but I mean, he had to be accelerated in some ways because we both have him at this point and have had him for a while.
For a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, on the 9th, we've got Mara Jade turning 3 years old. Ooh, I'm going to start getting these all wrong when it becomes 2025. all of them. I'll be like turning 4 years, you know,
We're almost there.
And then on the 11th, we have General Hux turning 5 years old. So some pretty good company. I mean, Keller and Beck's good.
Yeah. Mara Jade is great, in my opinion. I love the Datacron with Starkiller and her. I mean, it's just great.
She is pretty great. That whole team's just fun to use. I really like them.
I mean, plus it's taking down Rey, so.
If you could... any team that takes down a Galactic Legend that is not a Galactic Legend, I like that. That's the same feeling with Darth Bane. You're just like, I've got this. I'm doing stupid stuff and winning. All right, let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events brought to you by swgohevents.com. For a complete list of past, present, and future events, swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. Now, we've got on the 6th an Omega Battle. On the 7th, that's Imperial Fleet, because I know you were just dying to know which one.
Thank you.
On the 7th, we have a training droid smuggling as well as Peridia Patrol assault battle. We have, am I going to be ready for that?
I think we're going to have the first 2 stages, I think.
We'll find out. We'll get to that in the Who You're Grounded. On the 8th, we've got a Smuggler's Run. Will it be simmable? I don't know. No idea. On the 9th, we have an Omega Battle on Coruscant, as well as Grand Arena Season 60, Week 2 starting up, the sign-up. On the 10th, we'll have Battle for Mandalore coming back with Bo-Katan. And let's see, a marquee event. Oh, for the original Bo-Katan coming back. That's interesting. All right, sure. We have a Smuggler's Run 2 and a credit heist on that day. That's a pretty loaded day. I like that.
Yeah.
On the 12th, we have a contraband cargo. Now, we'll also be on Monday ending Conquest. So we'll have all that associated stuff. Ultimate Journey, Proving Grounds, and we don't have a territory battle coming, do we? No. It's not listed. I don't think we do. I feel like we just ended one. So,
felt like we did.
Anyways,
2 days ago, 3.
Not bad. Yeah, and we have Galactic Challenges coming up as well, but I don't even remember what day those happen on. So one just came out today, and it's Wednesday as we record. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then, do the other ones come out on Sundays? Is that how they're doing it now? I should know. I host a podcast about this stuff.
I mean,
one would think.
That's why we say it's better than some and, worse than others,
it's
right?
not loaded in game yet, so I don't quite know. All right, but before we dive into our top stories, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. They're awesome. If you enjoy what we do and you want to be a part of our community, head over to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. Your support makes this podcast possible, and you get access to some VIP section of our Discord and our Doth chat, which is our weekly, just kind of like chill session on Discord. Very fun. Yeah, okay. That'll do it. Punch it, Pop-Tart.
All right. So why don't we start with some of the low-hanging fruit for a moment here. We have a couple of things that have happened in the game, which is kind of nice. First off, Marak, guess what? We are farmable now. He's going to be on light side, hard node. Of course, it has to be a hard node.
Another 20 energy.
But the nice thing, though, is you can finally go through and grind all of those for Balin, which is kind of nice. Yeah. So he is farmable. I'm having some horrible drop rates for that, but, it's okay. So
yeah, I have been, too, specifically for Marak.
Yeah, it's painful there. So
Marak. I don't know. I still don't know how I want to say that. I'm still working on it.
M with a K. So other little things that have happened now with new Hera coming to the game, General Syndulla. We do have an upgraded version of Miss Hera. And so... Yeah, which is really nice. And it does look like we have the realistic form. So I think for some people out there, that we did kind of like the cartoonish version because Rebels, to me, is a very nice show. But on the other side, it is a very good model, and it makes sense for them to switch into it.
Yeah, it's Hera, Mary Elizabeth's version. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, so...
I didn't even notice it. I had used her a couple times because that's one of the character quests is to do X amount of 5 battles with both of them. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't even noticed until you said something. But you are the guy. You are the beat reporter for if someone's face changes in this game. You're I'm not even kidding. I get text messages that are like, Cad Bane's eyebrows change, and I'm like, I don't know. And I log in. Oh my God, they did, that one's made up, but it's, you have an eye for that stuff. You catch it so quick.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of something different and new. I mean, we've stared at the same characters for a long time, so it is kind of exciting for it. Now, it also too makes me want to go, why did they change that? You're like, Anakin, I'm sorry. It still bothers me. I actually like the last one better. But anyway, so, but now in that also what they ended up doing was adding a couple Spectrum tags out there as well, which is kind of nice. So we have Fulcrum and Chopper. Both of them are going to end up being Spectre. Now, the thing is we know that we have the new Ahsoka coming later on this year. And it kind of sounds like, based on what we're seeing online, we're probably looking, maybe the 17th, 18th, around that time period. So we're not too far off. Again, that's based on data mine type stuff, which I can talk about here in one sec. But we'll also say in the kit that it looks like we're going to have a little bit of a Spectre team, and including Zeb. So Fulcrum, I mean, after all of these years, maybe she finally has a home outside of territory battles, of course. Maybe she's going to be decent with, General up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And, I mean, Fulcrum is such a weird character in that she was, designed to be a solo character. And she worked like that for a little bit. And now, no one uses her as a solo character because she solos Darth Revan teams. Yay!
Yeah, great job. Yep.
But then she found a home on a Seer team, which takes out Rey, which is awesome. And now she's got this Spectre possibility, and it's almost like she's the new It girl. Teams are fighting over Fulcrum a little bit, which I'm here for. I like to see it. I mean, obviously, the new team is engineered to be Hera, Sabine, Huyang, Ezra, and Galactic Legend Ahsoka. Yeah. But we have these options to slot in Fulcrum, Chopper, and even Zeb. Yeah. And that's cool. I like that. I like having a little bit of flexibility that you can make a team do things a little bit different here and there. Basically, your for Magic players, that's your sideboard. Zeb is your sideboard. If you need him, pull him in. We love to see it.
I like that when they can bring characters and give them more utility. I think that's one thing, and I do think with Captain Rex being able to kind of have the 3v3 team, but honestly, he can play in a couple different ones as well. It'd be nice to have. Yeah. Where you can actually have, characters work in different teams and make it a little bit different. But, hey, kind of nice either way. So we have that as a whole. I mean, so it'd be good.
That's one thing I really love about the Leia team. That Leia Organa is one Galactic Legend that I feel like you have more flexibility with her than you do most Galactic Legends. I mean, they all, to some degree, have a little flexibility. But, you can do so much with her lineup. You can pop Rex in, Mon Mothma. You can do, in territory battles, I put Radis and Cassian with her, and it works perfectly. I love seeing that type of flexibility. And if Ahsoka brings something like that where there's different options that all kind of make sense in different situations, excellent. I love it.
Agreed. All right. So another, actually, let's go through and talk a little bit about with this update, and kind of what we saw was when they brought General in there, some data mines came in. And again, I was saying to you earlier, I'm a little bit of a boomer. I didn't expect to be that point, because I used to make fun of boomers, but now I feel like I'm getting to that point. But
we're closer to boomers than we are to the youth of today.
I know, right? Like, but they're able to really dive deep into this game and pull out all that information on SW at GG. So it's just so amazing. But one thing that came up was, and I like you said earlier, it's a light speed bundle. We did quotations there. But it looks like there's going to be a chance for you to kind of whale on a Night Trooper and Enoch. And so it sounds like it's not going to be like you have to get them Relic 7 for Ahsoka, but they're going to end up being, I believe it's going to be Relic 1. But the difference is if you go through and you spend a ton of money at the beginning of the game, you can spend $300 to get this character on day one. But it looks like to get it to Relic 1, it's going to be around $60 to do it, and it sounds like it's going to be right around the time that Ahsoka's released, or that's kind of the guess, obviously, but which would make sense. But so it's not technically a light speed bundle; it's only one character, so each one would be $60. But again, if you are a person that whales, it's more like a dolphin on this side, right? But
yeah,
the thing is it's one of the. One of the earlier characters, though, that's a hard part. So I think that's not going to be the one. At this point, you could have already farmed up to where you needed to go. So that's the tough part. It would have been great if it would have been, say a General Syndulla, or maybe somebody else that's one of the newer ones that you don't have. But hey, if you want to spend a couple dollars, because compared to maybe some of the other ones where you could get Rey for $19 total, this is a little expensive, but still.
Yeah. I have to point something out. I'm looking at the data mine info from SWGOH events. And I have some really bad news.
Oh, what's that?
I think it's Night Trooper or Enoch.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's or?
It's 2 packs.
Yeah.
So it's $60 to get one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's $120 for the total.
Ooh.
It's still
it's way cheaper than whaling at the beginning.
Yeah.
But so here's the question, I guess. If you whaled at the beginning, these are not for you, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
If you've been steadily working on these characters, these are also not for you. Because I'm done with Night Trooper. And I'm not that far away from being done with Enoch. So, it feels like the target demographic is people that are either new to the game or just, kind of don't really care.
Yeah.
Have not. Well, if they don't really care, they're not going to pay $60 for a character.
I know, right?
So, what is the target here? I don't get it. If you said, I could pay $60 and get Hu Yang
there you
to
go.
Relic 1. All right, now we're talking turkey. But these are characters that people who are doing regular farming, not whaling, totally free to play, are just about done with if they're focused, or maybe done with. So that's just weird.
That's
really
why
weird.
It is kind of, it seems like, and I've seen a lot of this on Reddit, where when we first got the first light speed bundles, they were legit. And it's almost like the first Conquest, right? Where, it was amazing. It was great. And then it just kind of gets not as much, right? Yeah. And so, again, for me, it's not going to be a case that I'm going to have to go for it. But again, it is a little bit different of a scenario, of course. But so whether I mean, it's not. They're not exactly sure if it's going to be called the light speed, but in the data mine, it's basically there. It could be called like a Galactic Legend Rush. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And again, I always think it as it's like the people that go and shop on Christmas Eve. You know, I mean, that might be the case, right? I mean,
yeah.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh, I guess I do want to whale for this, and I don't have an opportunity to. So, but hey. Data mine, we'll see kind of what happens. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen here for probably another next week or so. So I guess we'll see what kind of happens as a whole.
Yeah. I think I'm also looking at .gg, the emojis, because you can react, or not .gg, I'm so sorry, SWGOH events Discord server. Mm-hmm. The emojis reactions to these, the images of these Lightspeed bundles, or whatever you want to call them, Galactic, Ahsoka, Rush 1 and Rush 2.
Mm-hmm.
The top emoji on all of them on both of them is the thumbs down. Followed closely, there's a couple variants, but by the Dookie emoji.
I mean,
and the clown emoji. I mean, it's just I don't get it. I feel like they're just bad. Don't buy them.
Well, how about we move into a positive real quick, and then we can go back into.
Let's do that. Yeah,
we're not sure about the positive, but so one thing that's kind of nice is you may have noticed that there's permanent events in your event store if you don't have Radis or Finalizer in there. And so one really cool thing is for myself, I don't have Radis at 7 stars. So every day I get to go in there and sim it to get 10 shards for it. So now if you do have the 330 already, of course, you're not going to have to worry about that. But after all this time, it's really nice to be able to have a capital ship that nobody else cares about. But I'll finally have a 7-star at this point. And
but now you don't have to care about it.
There you
know,
go.
like for nothing. This costs you nothing. It's just another daily sim, and you knock this one out. I love it.
It's a win, and I do think through these updates, there's definitely some positives. It just with this one to me, I still think about the fact with capital ships, like I will not spend crystals on capital ships, and I know I probably should, and I'm going to be behind on this. But here's the thing: is if I went really hard on that, I'm going to end up in Kyber 3 or Kyber 4. If I don't go really hard on that, I'm going to be in Kyber 3 or Kyber 4.
Yeah.
So it just
agreed.
It's going to be okay either way. So that was really nice. Now again, we're still waiting for the other sim sections, like you said earlier. Like, be nice to get some of the other stuff that they said it was going to be there, but at some point. But
yeah, I mean, it's so easy to complain about this game. They give you so much to complain about, but you know, they give you a lot to celebrate too, and it's so easy to lose track of that and just focus on what's wrong with it to you. You know, what's wrong with it in your perspective? I know I get hung up on it too, but yeah, that is an absolute win. That those are the only downside is it used to like pop up every now and then, and I could go in there and get some shard shop currency out of it. Now, if you have it at 7 stars, you're done.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't care.
It's not going to be enough to break it, but
it's a net win. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of that stuff that we could probably go through to say is maybe a positive, but a lot of not so much.
I want to real quick do, because you said we were doing some low-hanging fruit.
Oh, true, yes.
And there's not a lot of fruit that hangs lower than the Gungis. So if you have not voted for the Gungis, voting closes December 7th. As we record, it's the 4th. This podcast releases on the 6th. So like if you're listening to this and you haven't voted, do it.
Yes.
I'll put the link in the show notes. It's right there in front of you. You have no more excuses. Do it. And we're not up for any awards because are you kidding me? There isn't a podcast category. There will be next year and we'll win it. But it's it's still going to be a really good time, and I love that this is being put together. It's fun. Like, support the community that supports the game. It's because it's all, whether you are a content creator or not, we're all a part of this community, you know, and it's just going to be a silly little party to get together and watch a stream of me and some other people being dorks. So if you like that, obviously you do. If you're, you know, this far into this right? podcast, you must. So okay, that's the low hanging fruit. Yes. I wanted to pluck that real quick.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about salt battles. And if we rewind for a moment, it kind of feels like we're in the trend right now of releasing some information and then maybe taking a step back, you know, and coming back to. And I do think that it sounds to me like we've heard some of the, what's the positive way to say this? Outcry, maybe frustration. Maybe they read some Reddit posts. Maybe they talked to their friends. So originally what was going to happen is they were going to really get rid of some of the assault battles that are out there that really honestly were kind of old, right? And so, but a lot of us, the number one thing that we see is that if you take away some of these assault battles that we can just press that sim button and get a ton of rewards for, why, right? And so in I know the original we were probably thinking is that we only have a set amount that we want to do to make sure we have a real schedule. But it sounds like starting in December, all 9 assault battles will continue to be going. Now, I think that's a win for us.
It is totally.
But
it's like you said, it's like the cadence of what activities we do. That makes sense. Take away the old ones because they're stupid. It's me pushing a button. What fun is that? Like, I mean, take the rewards out of the picture, and it's just like there's no engagement, there's no fun happening. There's no challenge, or it's not a game, so to speak. But if those same rewards just show up in my inbox on that day, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But that's... If that's not the case, then we need to rewind and talk about how we're getting these rewards instead. Because it's just you log in, push a button, get a reward once a month for each one. Like, I mean, I'm not giving that up.
But on the other side of it, I think that sometimes there's a lot to do in this game, like too much. But other times where I just want to mess around, I sometimes want to go in and just, especially the older ones, like I just want to feel like I'm actually have powerful characters. It's like going back and doing the Rancor raid and simming it with, basically going through and doing it with like CLS. I mean, I would love the opportunity to go back and do that because at some point I want to feel like all of this work that I've done, my GP matters, you know, I guess. But again, it kind of goes back to, I get why, but on the other side of it, we have a ton of Omega, you know, type of battles and stuff like that. We're not looking to get rid of those and some mythics and things like that.
And those are much more meaningless to a large part of the player base.
And then you're getting rid of shards, you're getting rid of zetas, you're getting rid of like signal data, right? Like those are things that are needed in, especially now. Chirotech, right. Like, but think about now, if with a new one coming in for Pridia, I mean, we are not, like most people that are free to play, are not going to be able to go through and have Relic 9 characters for that. So we're going to lose out on a lot of rewards on it. So I'm glad that they decided to kind of go through and change that, which I'm happy with. And so the new schedule is going to be, again, all 9 are going to be out there, and they're going to take their turn. So the first 4 Wednesdays and Saturdays of the month. And then there's an additional assault battle on the first Monday of every month. So we'll be able to see all of those in there. So again, it's maybe not going to be exactly how we see it right now, but at least we're still going to get that. And I think the idea is they're talking about future. You know, it sounds like we're going to continue on to have new assault battles similar to what we're seeing, you know, and again with Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon, that's 21 million credits. It's wonderful. So it makes a lot of sense for the future. But another thing which is wonderful too is when they take their break, we get some assault battles. And so it looks like
that holiday break is no joke.
I love it because we got doubled up. We got the Peridia one, which is going to be on the 7th and then the 26th. And then we have Forest Moon. I mean, all of these are going to be coming back, and I love it. So it's going to be really nice during the holidays to be able to have an opportunity to rack up those Zetas, those Kairos, in some of those currencies, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And they do say there's going to be some extra a few other events that get some extra stuff around the holidays. So be on the lookout, as if we weren't always on the lookout. Like I live in this game.
So yeah,
but
so assault. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how it all shakes down. But I think they have heard us and we were right.
Yes, we were.
You know?
See, that's
for all the complaining that everyone's always like, well, if we make enough noise, they'll have to do something. Only if we're right. You know, if they think we're right. And in this case, it worked.
I mean,
good stuff.
We're going to talk about the fun track here in a moment, but it does. I wish we kind of had that mindset a little bit of thinking about that ahead of time. Like, how do you think the community is going to react?
Yeah.
You know, because say we didn't go through and kind of throw up our arms in disgust, right? Like, it would be nice.
Would have just rolled out, you know?
I know, right?
We would be saying goodbye to a lot of rewards. Yeah.
Which is tough. And, you know, but I get it too. At this point, there's so much in this game. It is almost 10 years old. And at some point, it's busting at the seams. I mean, but still.
Yeah. Well, aren't we all? Speaking
of busting at the seams, why don't we talk a little bit about this good old episode track? How's it going for you?
You know, when it started, I bought it. I keep seeing people on Reddit say, for science. You know?
For science, yeah.
I did. I wanted to experience it. I'm not going to say it's not worth it if I've never actually had it, you know? Like, so, and it looks on the surface like it's a really good value. Better value even than a Conquest Pass. And I have bought those almost every time, right? I haven't bought the current one. We'll see. I don't know. I might not need it. We'll see. But, yeah, essentially out of the 50 tiers, I see a lot of people lately have been saying they're getting to the end of that. This is where you kind of max it out. I'm currently I am just a hair short of 43 out of 50. And those next few tiers, you know, they ain't bad. I still have 4 Omicrons waiting for me, a ton of episode currency, like 20-some thousand, I don't know, and 4 Zetas. Like I got some good stuff waiting for me.
Yeah.
So far, it's been really good. I enjoy it quite a lot. My episode quests are good. I'd say my only complaint with the new quests, I like the new daily system. It's not super different, but it seems cleaner. It's good. I like that I don't have to do a pointless squad arena battle anymore. I still do every now and then, you know, but I can take a day off and it doesn't matter. My complaint is the character quests.
Yeah.
Those are like so stupid because every time you do a battle with this new character, you're getting an alert like, hey, you've gained perfect defense 1 out of 10 times. And I'm like, well, that's neat. You know, or hey, congratulations, you defeated 10 Empire enemies. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I need to check my quests and see what that unlocks. Well, nothing if I don't get another 78 shards of Hera and of General Syndulla. And we've talked before about how the rewards can be good, but it can still feel bad.
Yeah.
And when I see all these things that I've done and I can't claim them, and it is a lot.
Yeah.
Out of 7 tiers, I'm stuck. I have done tier 1 and 2. And I've got a 4-star Hera. So that's a bummer. But the episode quests overall are great. The rewards are excellent. The other obvious kind of elephant in the room is the cap of 30,000.
Oh my
is
word!
Ridiculously low. Absolutely ridiculously low. Like when this came out, we were like, "What do you spend it on?" I don't know. I mean, I guess Omicrons, obviously, right? I'm gonna go into the shop right now. Episode shipments. I bought my Omicrons, so that's right out. I'm almost at the cap again. 26.7 thousand out of 30K. So I need to find something. What am I gonna do? Omegas? God no.
I know, right?
Mark III ability mats? No. Even Chirotech. I have 857 and 937 of the 2 Chirotechs. Like, and I know that I didn't mean that as a flex. I'm an old time player who's running out of stuff to spend on, you know? So you look at what's in there, and it seriously is like, just buy anything I don't have. Like, I'm gonna buy this 25 Mark II variable resistor because I only have 69 of them. So I'm going to pay 4,000 to get 25 more.
Right.
Because it's not something I have 600 of. And that's how I buy things here. Carbonite circuit board, actually, I don't mind having a little bit of extra of that. But like everything else in here, I've got hundreds and hundreds of. And you just spend so much time buying stupid stuff in there that like it feels like it needs to refresh much more often.
Know. Yeah,
if it refreshed more than once a week, then I mean, obviously that's going to drastically improve people's Omicron intake, which I feel like their gating of Omicron that could be eased up a little bit.
Agreed.
A little bit. Because there's so many Omicrons on all these characters that, like, look, we all have .gg. We know what the good ones are. And no, we're not going to ever see what some of these Omicrons do because you're releasing them at a rate that, like you could ease it up a little bit. Have that sucker refresh once or twice extra a week, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree with you. I think at some point, like, I would love to have, like, I'm looking at Ventress's, and I would love to have that one, but it doesn't make a ton of sense right now for me to do it. And yeah, it's a great one, and I think with Great Mothers, I think I'm probably going to do it at some point, but it's really tough to say, okay, let me not do it for the new Conquest character that's coming out. Like, if we're gating it the way that it is, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And to go back to the points, I mean, we have a make good that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So what they said is, and there's a lot of it, like the problem with the Galactic challenges is a huge part of this too, is that, like, for myself, I mean, you're in the 40s, I'm only at 32, but I've done everything that I can except for the Galactic challenges where I don't have my Jawas. Like, there is no point in me at this time ever to work to get my Jawas to the point where I'm going to be able to do what they have. And if you have Tuskens, and again, I don't have Tuskens where they should be to be able to do that.
If you were right on the edge with the Crate Dragon raid, it made sense to upgrade your Tuskens. Now, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And so then we're in that point of, why are we all of a sudden doing an episode track to where we have characters that they know that not everyone's going to have, especially the newer folk. And then we go through and we make it to where, again, I can't get something because I don't have I did end up getting the pass, right? So that unlocked a couple things, but why in the world do we have it for a new character? I can only do a 4-star based on Hu Yang and those pieces. Like, why are we doing that? And so I think they understand that doesn't make sense. And I hope the next time that they go through and they do this, that they don't do it that way. Now, the make good on this also doesn't make a ton of sense. And let's start first with the fact that we have a cap of 30,000 points, and they gave us not the 25,000 episode points that they said they're going to do. They gave us 28,000. Now,
and they didn't give us episode points. They gave us episode currency.
Currency, there we go. Yeah, sorry.
Which you can only hold 30,000 of.
I know, right? So think about that. Like, I was sitting at 28,000 at that point. I had to then spend all of that currency on stuff that I truly didn't 100% need, and I actually waited until the refresh so that way I could get the Omicrons. But who's making this decision? I mean, like,
I think the community has kind of agreed that was an oops. They were supposed to send points and they sent currency.
Well, they said they meant to do that, though.
But I don't know. Whatever the case, it's a weird make good.
So,
and like, I don't know.
Some of the other things, I don't remember seeing this. Have you seen it yet? Where they said they're going to get. So it said if you logged in on the day during the Galactic challenges and the episode pieces to it, you're going to get 3,600 episode points, 65 crystals, 200 squad arena currency, 115 fleet arena currency, 25,000 ship upgrade currency, 1 Omega ability, 45 sim tickets, 200 ally points, 18 3-star training droids, 17 3-star ship train droids, and 1 each of the 2 mystery boxes included in the daily rewards. Do you remember seeing that?
Maybe,
but I don't remember seeing it. But who knows?
It's so unremarkable that I might.
I know, right? Like,
I just said, "Oh, neat, cool." Honestly, I saw some people talking about. I haven't got that yet, but it's kind of like this vague memory because I just wasn't that tuned into it.
Yeah.
I guess
it again. We're at the point where I'm going to play this game whether or not it's I get this or I don't get this, or if there's a track or there's not a track. Like, I am invested now in this game 100%, and I think that there is definitely positives, and I can see that it just feels like we are what is it? I think we use this at work sometimes. We're building the airplane as we're trying to land it.
Oh, yeah.
And it really, at some point, they've built a lot of airplanes. So if they've had 9 years of this, they should be a little bit better about building this airplane as they're trying to land it, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've been flying this sucker for a while.
I know. So, again, hopefully in this, there's a couple of little things now for your daily quest for you free-to-play folk. We do have some increases. I'm not going to run through every single one of them, but basically there's going to be a little bit more each day. Let's hope the next time around of this, it's going to be a little bit easier, and I hope that they increase the cap for the spending points, and again, don't make it to where we have to go through and spend it on stuff that we truly do not want to spend it on. And again, it's all great stuff in there. But
well, it really hurts to see that I'm spending it on some weird mod upgrade thing, so I can turn one of Greedo's mods from green to blue, or something. Like something really, really inconsequential. When I see all these grayed out good things, but I have to wait a week, and I'm going to max it out way before a week. So
it's tough.
Whatever. Let's talk about Hera. Hera Syndulla Oblongata, as Meathead has dubbed her. Seems good.
Yeah.
I like her.
It seems like it's going to be a pretty dang good kit. It feels
leader,
that way.
Like the Spectre leader, I think. I don't know. For now.
Moment, yeah.
And she kind of works around perfect defense, which is probably going to end up being quite annoying. We'll see.
It wasn't working for a moment, but it's so there's some issues already with it. So
seriously, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, there's some notes on that too. I didn't put them in here, but so far it's not perfect. It's just semi okay. But it'll get perfect at some point.
Oh boy, yeah. So yeah, let's talk about it. It's not actually that bad as far as being verbose. Not as bad as some recent releases. Okay, so her basic is... My computer's freaking out. Blurg 1120 holdout blaster. Deal physical damage to target enemy. If the enemy's buffed, call another random Spectre ally to assist and dispel all buffs on the target enemy. On Hera's turn, call a random light side droid to assist. It'll probably be Hu Yang, I'm guessing. Well, I guess it could be Chopper, yeah. Dealing 5% more damage for each active Spectre ally. First special is Pulling Rank with a cooldown of 3. This is dispel all debuffs on target Spectre ally, and they gain defense up and tenacity up for 2 turns. Target ally gains 10% offense and 10 speed for 1 turn, and an additional 10% offense and 10 speed for each debuff dispelled this way. Then inflict blind on target enemy at the end of their next turn for 2 turns. Spectre allies who have defense up and tenacity up, dispel them and gain perfect defense for 2 turns, which can't be copied. And what that is plus 200% defense, resist detrimental effects, immune to defense up, and tenacity up. So overall, just a new era, a new Hera.
There you go.
Of defense, because honestly, like giving a character, I guess bonus protection is the only other thing that kind of fits with this. Because usually, like defense up is like whoop-de-doo, still going to die in 2 hits, you know. But perfect defense aims to kind of reestablish defense as a meaningful statistic in a way. Okay, special 2 is called I'm Not Just Going to Sit Around. This has a cooldown of 5. Deal true damage to all enemies. Remove 50% turn meter from all enemies with 50% or more turn meter. Dispel fracture from all enemies, and then inflict the target enemy with fracture until each other enemy has taken 1 turn or they are defeated, which can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. If the target enemy has no other active ally, inflict fracture until General Syndulla takes her next turn. The strongest ally tank taunts and gains protection up 50% for 2 turns.
Sorry, I was going to say, do you think all of those characters that lost the true damage are just still a little jealous? Because we see more and more of these new characters with true damage still.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Gas and Vader are kind of like,
not special anymore.
I know, sorry.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting in that it in using it inflicts fracture in a way, right? But it really clears all fracture and then puts a brand new fresh fracture. And that's meaningful because that sticks around until everyone's taken a turn. So if it was almost finally ready to go away, she does this and no, it is not going away. And that's kind of cute.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
First unique is called Unauthorized Mission. This is her Omicron. And it is at the start of each Spectre ally's turn, they gain 40% defense penetration if they have exile or perfect defense until end of their turn. Whenever a Spectre ally with perfect defense uses a special, they deal true damage to all enemies, which can't be evaded. And while a Spectre ally or Zeb is taunting, all the other non-taunting Spectre allies and Zeb have 25% defense, plus 25% defense. Whenever a buff is dispelled from an enemy, Spectre allies and Zeb gain 15% turn meter. I like that a lot. Whenever enemy units have their turn meter manipulated, a random Spectre ally gains defense up and tenacity up for 1 turn. And whenever perfect defense expires on a Spectre ally, they gain benefits based on their role. For attackers, it's offense up. These are all for 2 turns. For tanks, it's protection up 50%. And supports and healers get speed up. And then the Omicron part is, while in territory wars, Spectre allies and Zeb have plus 100% counter chance at potency. Whenever a Spectre ally or Zeb recovers health, other Spectre allies and Zeb recover half of that amount at the end of the turn. And whenever a Spectre ally or Zeb attacks out of turn, they remove 15% turn meter from target enemy, excluding Galactic Legends. The first time a Spectre ally or Zeb loses all of their protection, they recover 50% protection. Whenever a Spectre ally or Zeb is stunned, they dispel it and inflict buff immunity and healing immunity for 1 turn on all enemies. That's particularly fun. I feel like that's going to be really easy to manipulate. You go up against a stun-heavy team, and like, instead of stunning, that other team is buff immune and heal immune all the time. And it's just going to be so easy. And that is, once again, for territory wars. So, whatever. I don't mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be a great attack team in territory wars. And that's what I like.
There you go. Yeah. Attack,
all these stupid walls. Yeah. Stupid walls can go kick rocks. And then her leader ability, called New Republic General, and it is at the start of the battle. Spectre allies and Zeb gain 50% max health and max protection, and 150 speed for 1 turn. What?
I know, right?
150 for 1 turn. On their turn, Spectre allies can ignore taunt to target an enemy with exile or fracture. At the start of each Spectre allies and Zeb's turn, they gain offense equal to 50% of their defense until the end of their turn. Enemies with exile and off balance deal 20% less damage. If the enemy with fracture is defeated, remove 100% turn meter from all enemies, which can't be evaded or resisted. Whenever a Spectre ally deals multiple instances of damage on their turn, they inflict 6 stacks of damage over time to target enemy for 1 turn. And then finally, the first time a Spectre ally or Zeb's health is reduced to 30%, they recover 50% health and protection. The first time a Spectre ally or Zeb's health reaches 1%, they dispel all debuffs on themselves, gain damage immunity for 1 turn, take a bonus turn, and gain 100% offense on their next turn. If an enemy is defeated this turn, that ally recovers 50% health and protection. Otherwise, that ally is defeated. So it's interesting. It's almost like Magna Guard. Like when you kill him, he doesn't die. He takes a bonus turn, and then he dies. But with this, it actually gives them that bonus turn, amps them up, and gives them a chance. If they can knock somebody out, they stick around and heal up. And I think that's fun.
What if, and again, I mean, what if, the new Ahsoka, it doesn't have the leader ability. What if this is the leader? Because this is a very dang good leader ability.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unheard of. You look at Jedi Master Luke, he's pretty rock solid under a Jedi Knight Luke lead. Yeah. And again, that's like a flexibility thing where you can, usually you'd probably want Master Luke, but Knight Luke sometimes is the answer there.
Because, when you look at it, it looks like it's going to be, you want to mod these characters for defense, because if they're going to get 50% or they're going to gain offense equal to 50% of their defense, is this going to be it just seems different. I just wonder what's going to happen. But in the meantime, this is a great leader ability for a marquee character,
It is. It's insane. that 150 speed for one turn. So like your whole Spectre team is going to blitz somebody right off the bat. And then all this other stuff comes into play. I mean, she looks very, very solid.
And we're not talking about the kit. I mean, we're talking about the kit, not the model, right?
Yes, the kit does as well. No.
Okay, yes. Because, I mean, obviously she had kind of a reputation from the show as well. So, but...
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So I really look forward to this, getting this team geared up. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I need to go back and like reread some of the other kits because in Conquest... I got to where, like, I needed to get a kill with Ezra, and, like, I didn't know how. I've got Jedi Master Luke, and he can't pass a turn to Ezra because he's in exile, and I'm like, I gotta figure that out, don't I? Doggone it. Fortunately, I just tried it a couple times blindly, and I ended up getting a kill with him.
Nice.
But, you know, it is a complicated squad, for sure. And with squads like this, I always am... I'll say I'm reluctant to fully dive in and figure them out until the squad is complete. Like with Inquisitors, it wasn't worth trying to figure out if they're a good team until we know what Grand Inquisitor does. And this is one of those cases where, like, it's... Ahsoka's coming, and she's going to change what we think we know about these characters. Like, that'll still be true, but, like, where they fit in meta-wise is going to be anybody's guess.
Yeah.
Until we see her. But then, usually, once they all come out, I still don't figure it out. So, you know.
But you got to... I think it's the old, like, if you're a person that learns by doing, which I am, right? So, I mean... Yeah. There's some people that are reading this kit and just know. They're like, okay, this is going to happen. I can do this. I'm going to have to mess around with it a little bit, play around with it, lose to it a couple times.
Yeah.
And then we'll know, you know.
Honestly, I'm so lazy, and I think everyone knows this, but like I will, when a new kit comes out and a new team, like I get them built up because you collect you got to catch them all, right?
Yeah, right.
But, and literally the game makes you to get the Galactic Legend you want or whatever. But then I'll get them built up, and then I wait and see on .gg what can they beat. I'm not going to figure it out. I'm not smart enough. I don't want to lose a bunch of battles to figure out what they can and can't do. I'm going to look at .gg, see what they can and can't do. And so then, knowing that, I'll just like coast through with almost no knowledge of how it actually works until I get myself in a really frustrating situation and I have to learn how it works. That's how it usually goes. And I don't think this will be any different. So, that's all for you, I think. All right. We can talk more. We can talk a little Conquest.
Yeah.
How's the Conquest going for you?
Well, we got about 5 more days as we record today. I'm currently at 541, and I'm debating if that is going to be where I stop.
530 is the last chest, right?
It is,
the second to last chest. Yeah.
And so I've been really trying to, like, I think I love the fact, I absolutely love when they put the new Conquest characters in as a disc or some type of usable thing so we can actually use the character.
Oh, yeah.
So being able to see Rey was great. I think she's going to be an
you got a disc that does that?
Well, it's in your consumables. Oh,
what? Yeah. How did I miss that? Oh my! Because I'll tell you how. I was talking about on my stream. I can't be bothered to look at my consumables. I just can't. And now I see it. Oh my god! I can use her 5 times.
5 times. Yeah.
At Relic 9.
Yeah, and it's let's just say it. She's fun.
My god!
I mean, so
I am such a yutz. That's great.
That was really nice. Now, I have to get to that point where I have to decide, am I going to push through some of these feats that I just don't care about? And because I feel like they did a really good job with the global feats. I got every single one except for the ones that don't matter. The look at me. I'm not doing that for just for no fun. But
yeah, we'll see in the last couple days. I did it last time with the count, the royalty. I think it was nobility.
Oh, okay.
It was count and queen and princess and whatever.
Yeah. It's so the ones that I'm kind of having a challenge with are in the last. So in Sector 5, where it's you got to win with both, Morgan and Great Mother surviving. It seemed like it should be easy, but I just don't think I have the data discs for it. And I'm sorry, but I don't have the Imperial Remnants to where they can actually survive. That's 30 right there. I mean, you can only not do 34, right? And I'm sorry, but Miss Hottie is kind of she's
squishy.
breakable. I mean, she's breakable.
Squishy. Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm at that point where I did really well. I got to 530 3 days ago. I really planned on it until then. I got to some of these where it's going to be, make it to where Shin survives 10 times. And if it was like the last time around with the data discs, I could just put her in there with Imperial. I'm not Imperial, but with the Inquisitors, and I'm just done, right? But for some reason, I've probably wasted over like 200 energy trying to get her to not die. It doesn't matter who it is; they go for her first. So
I've only tried it a couple times. I haven't got her to survive in Sector 4. I mean, what I hate is when Sector 4 relic node is Geonosians.
Yeah,
and you're like, well, that's cool. I can't actually like earn anything here. So Sector 4 always has the best upgrade stuff for your datacrons.
Yep.
And you have to look at that, but then go play some other node that gives you nothing instead. And that's frustrating.
So yeah, I mean, I would say that one to me, I'm still never a fan of the one that says, no leader. I mean, that's just...
I hate that. I hate it. Yeah.
Why? I mean...
It's unfun.
Again, it still feels... This one feels better than the last one. Last one I felt like really was the have-nots you were not going to have. And this time around, I feel like I'm going to be able to get... It's going to be the same thing as I've always done, where I'll go through and get this crate, get to the 530, do all the little stuff that I can, unlock her again in the first round of the next one. But still, it is what it is, I guess. But how about for you?
Sure is.
Where are you at?
It's going all right. I'm at 566.
Oh yeah,
and what I have left is I need to do a battle with deployable cooling systems. So that's easy. And then the Sector 5 stuff, I've got like 4 out of 10 for the Morgan and Mothers, but it's because they're always low stamina because there's so many other things you have to do with them in other sectors. So all that stuff's done. So now I can focus on Sector 5 and get that. So that's 30. My remnants have 3 out of 10. But again, you got to win battles with Night Trooper or whatever. Like, it demands your stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'll get that. Those 2 and the deployable cooling systems are going to give me 45. Then I have to figure out exactly what I can skip. Sector 4 has another one with Night Trooper and Enoch. I just noticed that I'm 3 out of 10. So I hate that. I hate this so much where they're like, for this sector, you've got to drain all the stamina from your Night Sisters. Then for the next sector, you've got to drain all the stamina from your Night Sister. Just come on, man.
I know.
Give me some Ewoks. I don't even care. Just something that is not my Death Trooper Peridia again. So that sucks. I don't like the no leader one either. I've only got 1 out of 10 of those. Armor Shred, I'm pretty sure there's a cheese for. I just haven't looked up. I saw something online, so we'll get that. I should be able to max create it.
To be honest, I mean that I was able to do that one, but
yeah, I mean there's several people that can do multiple shreds, so I'm not too worried about that one. That should be fine. As far as Datacrons, I've been doing all right. I mean, I got most of the stuff I want, and I'm upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. So this is the last one for this group.
Yeah.
So
can we start the next one
count,
after
y'all.
that? Yeah.
Okay, I think that just about does it. We just started a Grand Arena round, so we don't have a whole lot going on there yet. I put up 1830 against my guy. Nice clean attack. They haven't attacked yet, so who knows? But yeah, I think we can call it.
Yeah.
Let's head out. Wait! Before we go, who you grinding?
Ooh.
This is the best part because we had 2 weeks worth of grinding to talk about.
Well, guess what? We also too had just a surprise Jar Jar event as well.
Yeah.
So I was able to unlock Jar Jar, which is wonderful.
Nice.
Now it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything with him yet, but so far I haven't. So I did get him up to Relic 5. So unlocked him, got up to Relic 5. He isn't helping me too much in the raid yet. So because we don't have all the Zetas. So that's kind of rough, but hey, Jar Jar is officially part of the team, which is wonderful. Now, we did actually get, which we didn't talk about that, but the Ahsoka requirements. Now we have all of them, so it feels like I have 25,000 things in my favorites here, but I did get rid of some, so which is kind of nice. So Ventress was Relic 3, now she's up to Relic 5, so she is done, which is great. Solid. Because I'm going to jump down to Great Mothers. We were able to go from Gear 12 to Relic 7, so that means now I have a pretty decent Great Mothers team, so which is wonderful there. Nice. Now, Death Trooper went from 29 out of 100, and he is at Gear 12 plus. He basically all I'm waiting on is Cairo for both. They just need a ton of it, so then he can go Gear 13. Enoch went from 70 out of 85 up to Gear 12, and again, same thing. I'm just waiting on have everything except for the Cairo to get where we need to go. Now, Barris went from Relic 3 to Relic 5, so she is done. So that kind of feels good. Now, unfortunately, I had to put Plo in the group there, and getting him to Relic 8 is going to be idiotic. I mean, not idiotic, but not fun. I shouldn't say that, but either way. Not idiotic. I'm being mean to Plo, but because it is good. It's great as a whole. Like it'll be fine.
Guy. Yeah,
I know, right? I mean,
but he's not a good tune.
I know, but so really, other than that, on that group, really, there's not much that I have left on there. So, but in the Balin group, there was a little bit of movement. My Thrawn is still. I have to get him up to Relic 7. He's only Relic 6. I got to do that still, but. Shin went from 25 out of 30 up to 0 out of 85, and she is basically ready to go to Gear 12 when it is time. Now, nice. Marak, however you want to say that, he went from...
Maracas!
There you go, yes. That's what I'm going to be calling him now.
I'm dancing. So. You guys can't see it, but I am dancing.
He went from 5 out of 30 to a whopping 10 out of 30, and he also, too, is ready to go to Gear 12. So... But that, like I said, that's a rough 5. I mean, I got 5 in a matter of days. That is actually one more grape. I'm sorry. The fact that when I use energy in the morning, I can't see how many shards go up because of the
because of the little indicator of like
yes.
You used some energy or whatever. Yes.
So it's more disappointing when you get done with getting through all the way up to your 100 and you're like, oh, I did 1 today. Great job. Way to go. But anyways, a little bit of municipality. No, that's going to be that's buildings.
Municipalities.
I don't know. I guess
miscellany.
Miscellany. There you go. That's what I was going for. I'm actually trying to get my Night Sisters group up a little bit higher. So Acolyte went from Relic 3 to Relic 4. And then I'm going to use Spirit because I want to. So she's a Relic 3.
Who's got Spirit?
I know, right? I do. And so I want to get her up to, or it? It's a her, right?
I think it's a her. Yeah, Night Sisters.
I think it's her. Yeah, Night Sister. True, yes. It's not a Night Brother.
Right.
So want to get her up to Relic 5. So that's going to just be on the side a little bit. So she's only Relic 3, but we'll get there. So yes, I got a Jar Jar to Relic 5, and I feel pretty dang good about it.
That's real solid.
It just is one of those things where I'm just glad I did. I mean, not because it's helped me in any way so far, but I'm just glad I did, right? So, So speaking of things that you glad, wow, English is tough for me tonight.
We take 1 week off and we just forget how to talk.
I know. So I'm going to talk real slow here and ask you who you grinding.
Oh, man. Apologies, first of all. As you were reading that off, I don't say this word, but like as you were reading that off, I said solid 3 times. You'd say, yeah, I got Barris to Relic 5. Solid. That's solid, bro.
There you just got to add the bro and you're good.
I don't know. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, it feels good reflecting on 2 weeks worth of progress every now and then. It really does. I took my Night Trooper from Relic 4 up to Relic 7. So that is a done. Death Trooper is from 29 up to 87 out of 100. We're so close. Captain Enoch was 57 out of 85, and now he's just says 100. He's like halfway, I think. Oh, he's 34 out of 100. Getting there. I don't remember what it was, but I was working on something else when he came out, so I know I missed a little bit of the early farmability. Sabine chilling at 15, Hu Yang chilling at 40 out of 65. Plo Koon, I did take him from Relic 5 up to Relic 6. Ooh. We're working on that, but I might not go beyond that because I didn't realize Death Trooper is super close to hitting Gear 12 or relics, essentially. So I might want to try to relic him up for the assault battle uses Enoch too, right? So it won't even matter if he's not Relic 7. So, okay, I'll keep going on Plo Koon. And then General Syndulla, I bought the little gamble pack. Got super lucky with 7 shards.
Ooh, fancy.
But I also did the character quest. Do your character quest. Look at those. There's one for just doing mod challenges that gives you 20 shards of her.
Yeah.
I got a little nervous. I was like, did I miss that with Hu Yang? Was there one for Hu Yang like that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Good.
Not that I know of.
Because I felt like a fool.
Didn't you have to buy something for that one? No, it was the pass. You bought the pass and got the 20.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, we're all just jumping through hoops, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
That's the name of the game. For years, we've just been jumping through hoops and
we're following that maze,
looking at our little characters swing their little lightsabers and pew pew. Other things that I did. Let's see. Night Sister Initiate. I was working on last time around. I got her from Relic 2 up to Relic 3. I have no plans on going beyond that. But it's one more Night Sister.
There we go, right?
So if we're building 2 Night Sister teams, I don't know, maybe. The other dumb thing I did was I took my Jedi Consular from Gear 12 up to Relic 3 so that you don't have to.
There you go.
I can report on how that has changed my Grand Arena experience next week. I'm guessing it's going to be drastic. And then for Omicrons, I believe that in the last 2 weeks, I don't know, man. I think I gave Malicos his 3rd at some point in the last 2 weeks. And I'm getting ready to have another one available within the next, few days. But I don't have any idea where it's going yet. Great Mothers, maybe. I feel like that's a pretty hot one, but I haven't really looked into what would make sense for me. Zetas, I don't know. Like I've done some. I probably did Hu Yang since we last spoke. He's all Zetaed up. I also, for funsies, did Greedo's Zeta the other day. It's always been one that I thought, like, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, I use him in territory battles because he's Relic 6, and to keep a full Hutt Cartel team, he's my only option at that particular battle. Might as well have a stun when he does his little move, right? I don't know. So I did that. And then I did General Syndulla's leader. I don't quite have enough for her other one yet, but that'll be coming very soon. And then, like I said, Datacrons. I've got Shorty, Hondo, Margid, Maul, Starkiller, Malicos, and I don't know how many other ones I really want. I mean, I want to get a Grand Inquisitor. That's the big one that I'm missing. Beyond that, like, I don't really care too much about any of the others. So we'll see. That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you follow me with your Relic 3 Jedi Consular. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server linked in the show description. Become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks go out to Pabuapa and SWGOH.GG and SWGOHevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.